I don't know how I've got in my feed, my Instagram feed, the amount of like conspiracy theories around, going to the moon. Like
your algorithm's messed
maybe they
up.
think I'm a sucker for it, but like, and maybe I am because I'm getting so much. I'm starting to go, hold on, I better really look into this because.
Did we even go to the moon?
Yeah, like I'm kind of like, man.
Simo, it's your algorithm. No one made that algorithm but you.
Yes, exactly.
I know, I'm worried. Pray for me, guys.
You're more Jesus in your algorithm.
All right.
Curiosity, the greatest contributor to drift.
Welcome to the show.
That's true.
What was that? Curiosity.
Curiosity is the greatest contributor to drift.
Well, what's that mean? What do you mean? Unpack that.
We're talking about your algorithm.
I'm curious.
Right? And you're like, my algorithm has drifted away from where I want it to be.
Oh.
But that drift has been caused by your curiosity.
Yes.
A little bit of curiosity. You have a little bit of a look. You'll have a little bit of a look further.
Ooh.
Before you know it, you're looking at stuff you never wanted to look at.
So far down the rabbit
all the
hole.
way down there.
Yeah.
Began with curiosity.
Just in case Chris edits this so there's no context.
I won't edit this. We'll leave this
We're talking about how I'm getting, in my algorithm, I'm getting a lot of conspiracy theories about going to the moon.
That sounded real wild for a second there.
Conspiracy theories about going to the moon.
I think I'm
Just
going to edit
for
it.
the record.
I think
Just
I'm going
for
to
the
edit
record.
it. I don't think we want context.
For the record.
His next conspiracy theory is that Chris is going to edit him out of the pod.
The title for this episode is now going to be Simo's conspiracy theories.
All right.
Simo's curiosity.
Did we really land on the moon?
I can come up with
Mark?
some conspiracy
Did we really
theories.
land on the moon?
Look, you're right. I'm
Rabbit
just
holes.
curious.
It's curiosity.
And so
It's
my
us.
algorithm is just conspiracy theories around Animus 2 and going on the moon.
Animus too.
So anyway,
Guys just need to say, you know what? I'm just not that interested more often.
True.
so our topic today, or the title of our show today, is Trust God is not a business plan. Sounds counterintuitive, but I hope that's got your attention because that's the main idea of
Bit of
that.
spice.
It's a bit of spice.
Come on.
But like if someone told you to just trust God about your mortgage last week and you wanted to throw something at him, stay with us because we want to, because I get that. Like, right.
There's some broken teeth out there.
Our last episode, I didn't throw anything at anyone, but
Oh, good.
our last episode, we kind of started talking about current financial circumstances that people are in, stress and worry and pressure and trusting God. And this episode would love to get more practical. And what does practical look like in trusting God and having faith?
Great.
Because we've all had those moments where the well-intentioned person in church or, you
Don't want to stereotype, but we could.
I don't want to stereotype too far. But it's that kind of thing of like, oh, just trust God. And it's, as a guy, sometimes it's like, I want to trust God, but I want to be like, I
want to do the thing.
I don't want to just be passive.
Yeah.
I don't want to do nothing. So how do I live out that tension of I want to have faith and trust God, but I don't want to just like, do we just sit back and like hope God does it all?
The Bible would say that faith without works is dead.
Right.
That if we're just trotting around, shooting off trust God as a nice sounding statement, and there's not action within that,
That's right.
then it's just hot air.
Absolutely.
Our trust has substance. Faith is the substance. There
Great.
can't be in separation between what we say and what we're doing out of what we say. If I'm trusting God, I'm not just trusting for some miraculous answer, which exists, but it's probably the exception. I'm trusting God for the wisdom to make the right decisions. I'm trusting God for the peace as I'm talking through things that I could do. Trust has substance to it.
It has action to it.
Yeah, I don't think it's trust without action.
Like you can't say to a person, "I just trust God for a wife," and then he's going to sit in the lounge and do nothing.
Yeah,
and wait for this girl to turn up. And
I know people that operate like this though, like, and that's kind of where I'm trying to get at with this ep is like, I know we know that action and faith are linked, but I do think some people think that trusting God is I do nothing and let God do everything.
Start spot.
I guess there's a better spot to start
good.
than not trust God.
It's a statement start spot. It's like
it's the beginning of the journey.
Yeah, I remember being at uni, and it's like, well, I don't know what job I'm going to get, and so it's like, well, I'm trusting God, but you were kind of also you're doing stuff, right?
Yeah,
like,
you're not just unemployed hoping something's going to happen.
But right now in this moment, I'm also trying to get the best results I can because that's going to hopefully set me up. Like
this is the tension.
It's like, I'm trusting God. And I will say God opened doors I didn't expect.
Yeah.
He opened doors I didn't see coming, but that door looked like a conversation, one night service with someone. Now, I could have then not followed anything up.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, there's that conversation, and then you follow it up, and then an interview occurs, and so you prepare for the interview, and you go to the interview, and you're trusting God for sure. And I look back at it, and I would say that job was an absolute miracle.
Yeah,
you know, God totally provided.
Yep.
Which He did, but I got to walk through the door that's open. I got to
100%.
follow up the conversation. I've got to prepare for the interview. I've got to, even if someone sends me the interview questions, I just got to look at them.
Yep.
It's like God's trying to give me a win as best He can.
Yeah.
I got to
trusting God doesn't mean I don't have to do my best.
Yeah, that's right.
That doesn't mean I don't have to apply myself. Doesn't mean I don't have to do what's required of me. Like I think when you said about that a minute ago, Simo, I was thinking like this is fundamentally a partnership with God. This life. If it's fundamentally a partnership with God, I've got a part to play in that partnership.
Yeah.
I don't just turn it all over to God and go, well, faith is everything.
Yeah.
Faith is the foundation. Faith is the basis of action.
Yeah.
I trust God for the job, therefore I go for the interview. I trust God for the girl, therefore I take a shower and wear nice clothes and, and meet people and, you know what I mean? Like, I trust God for a good marriage, so I work on it and have hard conversations.
Yeah.
It's not just trust, therefore I don't have to apply myself. It's trust means I have to apply myself because faith without works is dead. Like you said.
It's I think you mature to a place where trust has a multifaceted component to it.
Yeah, that's great.
Like I trust that God will provide for me, but I'm going to look for avenues. I'm
great.
I'm out there.
Yeah, that's good.
Like
trust means you're looking.
Like Rach and I, we're wrestling with a situation at the moment, and it's like I trust God will direct us, but I know He will do that as we're walking.
Yeah,
so let's keep pursuing this. And my trust looks like, God, if this isn't great for us, help us close the door. Help us to not feel at peace. Help us that's what trust looks like.
Yeah, that's good.
We're gonna go this way, and I'm trusting that you're gonna guide us and direct us and help us and speak to us. And as all of those things are wrapped up in trust, not just the simplistic, I trust God will click His fingers and
Yeah, trust doesn't mean no work.
Do you think
God's going to do all the work?
Well, I think you can. I think a lot of people can end up on either end of the spectrum. You're either as passive, like it's in lack of action. I'm not going to do anything until I hear the clear voice of the audible voice of God telling me to do that thing or that thing. Where my experience is like, God's like, I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? What's the clear way? And He's like, what do you want to do?
That's exactly right.
And I'm like, no, but I need you to tell me exactly what to do. He's like, well, I'm with you no matter which way you go.
That's so
like,
good.
God, I want to go this way. He's like, and then that's when I usually hear God clearer. And it's like, if it's a bad decision, I feel because He loves us. He's like, oh, I wouldn't do that one.
Don't do that.
Right.
It's like with us with the kid, I wouldn't put your hand in the flame there. But you got lots of other cool things you could do. And I think, but anyway, where was I going with that? I think some people are on one end of the spectrum, like, I'm not doing anything until I hear, until God sends me a text message, or another end of the spectrum is like, maybe as guys we can find ourselves, we say we're trusting God and we're doing some practical things, but we're really just taking too much control. Like we're in the bucket where we're like, I want to have control. I want to do all the. We're so practical that there's no room to trust God or to be directed
trust
by
finds
Him.
its space in uncertainty. If you have if you have controlled everything to the point of certainty, that's a protection against a desire not to trust. So people with trust issues control.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
People that struggle to trust control. So there's no uncertainty, there's no gap, there's no question.
That's right.
Right? But to trust, there's uncertainty. That's why you're trusting.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this step, but I'm not certain.
Yeah.
So I'm trusting.
Yeah.
Right? You'll talk, you'll
true.
show, you'll reveal, you'll provide, right? But the other end of the spectrum is control.
Yeah. I think there's I identify areas of my life where I'm passive. Like I feel like I've got both operating in my life. There's areas where like I'm so confident in my ability in this area that I'm like, ooh, I like to have control. But then there's areas where I'm like, oh, I just can't be bothered doing practical things in that area. So I'm just like super passive and lazy. And I'm like, okay.
I'll trust you in that one, Lord. I won't do anything.
Yeah, like there's a weird dichotomy in all of us, like, right?
Totally.
We have too much control of one thing, we lack of action in another thing.
Just being human.
But I think some people might feel like taking action, their fear of taking action is lack of faith. They're worried that like, ooh, I'm stepping into a place of doing something that like I should be trusting God for. Their fear of actioning their faith is that it's not faith if they're actioning things.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
It can be really debilitating.
Yeah. And so I've got here, some people spiritualize inaction. They don't budget because God will provide. Like, I don't need to budget. God will provide.
Well, then why does the Bible talk about wisdom? Right?
Or doesn't upskill or pivot in their career because they're like, no, God has a plan. He's going to make that happen. And Daz, you're a financial counsellor.
I am.
So you'd probably see this happen sometimes, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what do you find happens in this space? Do people over-spiritualize practical things to a point that they're paralyzed in action? And
most of my clients are not saved.
Oh, okay.
And so that's
not a thing.
It doesn't play a part really in most people's budget, because normally when a person comes to see me, they are pretty desperate and living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Like they're really living close to the poverty line. And there's probably a lot of funky stuff going on. Like there's a few debts, they're overdue on bills, and you know what I mean? Like there's some stuff where they're like, I don't even know if I can make ends meet in an organized system. This is completely disorganized. It's totally dysfunctional. How do we make this work?
Yeah, okay.
So, the faith side of things doesn't play into most of my sit-downs.
But it's more, you've got some good practical steps, and we're going to get back to, I think we're going to get back to that because we want to give some people some practical things. But what does it look like? What does that tension look like to have faith and action working hand in hand?
I think,
or what might that look like? In this context that we're in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, true.
From
financial
a financial
pressures,
point of view,
or like just the sense that like things are okay right now, but I'm hearing and reading that this oil shock. There's things coming down the pipeline. Is it good stewardship to start going, okay, I need to start thinking about things now to plan for then?
Great. That's wise.
Is that faith? Is that okay? Or I guess how do we walk that line?
Does faith work with wisdom and stewardship? That's the question. Like really?
Yeah.
Do we have to be wise, and is wisdom faith? Or are they at odds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. And I think, we talk a lot about trusting God. But if we flip it and realize that God has trusted you.
Great.
When we think about the parable of the talents, the rich man entrusts resource to his servants.
Yep.
And then actually doesn't give them any other instruction. He just entrusts them And he comes back and he says, how have you stewarded what I entrusted you with?
That's right.
And what we see there is that faithfulness is rewarded as success. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in what I've given you. Therefore, I can trust you with more.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we misinterpret trust as being one-sided, or I need to trust God. But we're in a relationship with Jesus. And in a relationship, trust is two-sided.
Yeah.
I'm trusting that God will, let's say, provide. And God says, well, okay, I've provided. I'm trusting that now you show me you can steward. Can I trust you with more? As that is an element of the conversation. It's not the whole conversation, because there's other aspects of it, like I'm in desperate crisis need. That's a
right.
different element of the conversation.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, God, I need a miracle, things like that. But it does change the way we view what we have when we realize that God has entrusted us.
Yeah, that's great.
We pray for a job, we get one. God has entrusted you with something.
Yeah.
How are you stewarding? And that goes for everything. How are you stewarding your marriage, your spouse? God provided you with your kids. It's a provision. It's a blessing. How are you stewarding what God? So when it comes to finance, I think if you can see it through the mindset of, okay, God's entrusted me with this amount. How am I stewarding it? Am I being wise with it? Am I showing him that I can be trusted? And so that brings a whole different element to talk about are you being trustworthy with the finances God's given you
There you go.
from kingdom perspective? Because if you're out there splurging on things that you don't need to, well, maybe.
I love that, how you flip that. God's partnership. We're trusting God, but He's entrusted us.
Can I stand before God and say, I am faithfully stewarding the resource you've given me in a wise and faithful way?
That's right.
Or am I being reckless? Am I being unwise? Am I being lavish when I don't need to be? Am I being excessive, self-indulgent? Do I need 5 streaming service subscriptions?
Yeah.
Is that using the resource He's entrusted to you?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's good. That's powerful. I think, imagine if we looked at everything as instead of, this is all my stuff. It's just like, no, this is all His stuff.
We do get a bit busy trusting God to give us more.
Yeah.
Forgetting that everything He gives us is entrusted to us.
That scripture, if anyone's wondering, is Matthew 25:14-30, which is the parable of the talents. So check that one out.
Yeah, that's great.
In the NIV, which I'm partial to.
It's good.
The NLT is good though, as
I think you should have variety in your life.
Pastor Nate's preferred edition.
I think
Sour Patch Kids and Sour Patch Watermelon.
It's not a pod episode on the Bible, but daily devotion. Find the one that speaks to you.
That's great.
Eat what feeds you. But if you want to dig a little bit, then you should definitely have the capacity to get a verse and look at it in multiple translations. View it from different angles. You'll see different elements. It's one of the ways we go deeper.
Yeah,
it's good
in the word. So
it's good. I want to get a little bit practical now.
Yep.
A great story in Scripture to check out is in Genesis 41. Pharaoh has a dream. Joseph interprets it. And then immediately proposes a 7-year economic management strategy. He doesn't say, God's got this, let's not worry. He says, here's what we should do and here's how we should do it, which is active, wise, prayerful stewardship, which is what we just said. So it's a great story to check out in Scripture. But what does practical kingdom action look like for someone in Newcastle in this moment, 2026, with mortgage, family, right now? What does practical faith, wisdom, stewardship look like for someone?
I think you got to take stock.
Jesus.
Firstly, take stock. What do you have? What is your income and your expenses? If you don't have a budget, that's a really wise place to start.
Yeah.
So get there's some great budgeting tools online. There's Pocketsmith. There's even
Pocketsmith.
It's a great little app you can use. There's heaps of easy budgeting, downloadable kind of stuff for Excel. I'm a major Excel nerd, so give me something in Excel and I will make it fly.
Yeah.
like work out if you have money left over at the end of the fortnight or if you're going backwards.
Yep.
Like that's your first step.
Yeah.
What's all of your income and all of your expenses, and then now you've got a canvas to work with. Now you can see, and then you can make decisions. Okay, you can't change what you are not aware of.
That's great.
Once you can see it, then you can make decisions. If you're married, you should be doing this with your spouse. Right, don't just do your whole budget by yourself and then tell your wife what's going on,
and then do an Excel spread like PowerPoint presentation to your wife.
This is why we need to buy this thing, right?
It doesn't go down well, does it?
Budget together, financial conversation, financial intimacy is the thing.
Even if you don't do the nuts and bolts of it together, like I know that would bore the absolute heck.
That's
out of
exactly
Rach
right.
If I made her sit down and go through
Totally.
it, like it's like. Communicate together.
You,
this is a good plan.
That's exactly
I'm
right.
happy to do the nuts and bolts. We'll come back together, like review it.
Absolutely.
Totally.
There's a portion of our marriage that's not going to go down well if we try and do it exactly together. Like sharing a laptop, someone's
no. I need to
laptop's getting
drive.
thrown off the
I
table.
need to drive on the laptop.
The person who's more interested and is better with money should manage the money, but it should be like a
It
conversation.
should be a together thing.
A together thing.
Yeah,
and
that's
if you
good.
don't have a budget at all, it's got to be a together thing because your spouse is going to be like,
You come into
I
agreement
spend
to have
way
one.
more money than that
Yeah.
on this thing. So, but like start with a budget, and a budget is simply a plan for your money. And the rule of budgeting is give every dollar a job. Give every dollar a job. Every dollar has a job. There's no dollars doing random weird things, even if the dollar's job is to sit in an account and wait for a job.
Do you visualize these dollars with arms and legs like little people
One of
working?
them walk into the cafe to get my coffee.
Okay, it's just me.
No, that's a you thing.
All right, whatever you need to do though, right?
Sounds like an issue, not an ish me.
Sounds like an ish me. All right, okay.
Yeah. No, I don't visualize
neither.
that at all. Yeah.
But they give
But
each
not
dollar,
anymore.
you
I
give
don't
each
anymore.
dollar a job. Yeah, like little hard hats. They're working.
Off you go.
Sorry,
Go to work.
I think that's good.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's a starting point, right? Because then you need to assess, like, where are we overspending? And you said it earlier, like, I don't need 5 streaming services.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but
Well,
I really don't.
Well-
I don't have 5 streaming services.
like if you've got, and it somewhat depends on your income too. If you have an income of like $10,000 a week, then maybe you can afford 5 streaming services. But do you
this
need
looks
it?
different to different circumstances.
That's exactly right. But
We talked a bit about that in the previous episode in terms of contentment and comparison.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need what everyone else has.
That's true. You know, like I had a client who she had 6 kids at home and she had 7 streaming services because no one could agree on what streaming services to have. So she was spending $167 a month on streaming services, and she was struggling to pay her bills.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like,
It's tough.
and just trying to help her understand, hang on, like this is a preference thing and a luxury item for your
but
children,
Culture has told us
and
it's-
you're
it's
the
not.
parent.
Culture has convinced us that it's a necessity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We get items in the wrong buckets.
That's exactly right. It's true.
You know, it's like there are things that are absolute necessities, and most other things are luxuries.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
You know, we change clothes way more often than we probably need to.
Yeah.
You know, all sorts of things like that.
I think
pay your bills. That's a pretty important part
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
whole thing.
Talking about the streaming thing, one thing, Jess, because our kids do the same thing. Like they just can't agree on anything. It's just impossible. Or like streaming services, there's a new thing all the time. So they're like, oh, you know, so we're like, okay, instead of paying for a streaming service, you guys are allowed to decide on one movie to buy on Apple TV once a month, and you get that's it.
Yeah,
and then we own it, and then all you have is the library that we create.
Yeah, that's so
and that's
good.
it.
It's great.
And it's worked really well. But anyway, I digress.
But there's some wisdom in that because you're also not training your kids that they can have whatever they want whenever they want.
That's right.
You're training them to think a bit more wisely about not just what they're consuming, but how much it's costing you.
Yeah. So back to the practicals. Have a budget, know what every dollar's doing, at least survey that aspect of your world and know what is happening, because you can't make decisions.
That's exactly
if you don't know.
Like we have some financial changes coming in our family, and I'm like, all right, how's this going to work? Yesterday, sat down and made a few little decisions, low-level decisions.
Yep.
I moved my life insurance to my super, right?
Nice.
And a couple other little things, and it's $100 a month saving.
Yeah, it's little things can add up.
Yeah. I'm like it was interesting to do this money mentoring journey with a lot of clients and then start to apply those principles to our family finances.
Yeah.
I saved $300 a month just by applying a few of the principles to my family's budget.
Well, where are these principles from again? The money.
Well, it's from CAP Australia, now called Hope Economy.
Okay.
So Christians Against Poverty Australia. That's where I was trained.
Yep.
And they just train money mentors around the country. Okay. It's an amazing thing. And so I thought, I'm going to just apply this to my own family. And, because I'm trying to find heaps cheaper solutions for my clients. Like their mobile phone, right? And we talked about this earlier today. And, and I'm like, I'm going to go to Woolies and get a plan for my mobile phone. And it cost me $170 a year.
Wow. Yeah.
And I get 10% off a grocery shop once a month.
Ooh, nice.
And I'm like, that's so cheap. And so and it was at the time when like the interest rates are flying up. Yeah. They're like every month. It was like a couple of increases, and I'm like panic mode. And I'm like, I'm going to just fully reassess our budget and make some significant changes. And I think there's wisdom in that.
Just for a second, 100%. Come back around to that, because you pay a cost that people aren't willing to pay, right? So we were talking today about that, and you're like, I don't have 5G, like I've only got 4G.
Yep.
And this is, again, it's like, well, you're saving, I think you said yours is $174 a year, and I'm like, my whole Telstra bill, 2 phones and internet and everything, I think it's like $334 a month. Yes, I know my budget that accurately. But
see, that's also good. I love that.
So you're literally paying half my monthly bill in a year for your phone. Now, like, we didn't include internet and whatever in yours, but your willingness to take the hit on the luxury
and the convenience,
5G data, right? It's like, again, we approach that as somehow it's
normal.
It's a necessity. Like, I can't live without 5G.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you probably can live without 5G.
We did for a long time.
Exactly if you are struggling to put, and I don't want to come across wrong here, but if you're struggling to put food on the table, but you have the latest iPhone on 5G, there's an adjustment that can actually be made. It might have a little bit of pain to it. Like drop into 4G and a Woolies, and that's not a solution that's available to everyone. But often I think we aren't willing to view the options that have a little bit of pain attached.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah,
because we don't want to. We don't want to suffer.
We don't want to. Yeah,
I don't want my lifestyle to be affected.
I don't want to. It's like I want to have
needs wants.
I want to have this and everything else. I want to.
It's also
actually we can't.
It's also how we cope with stress and fear and like uncertainty. As we I need all the comfort. So I need all of the comfort and the conveniences to help me cope with life.
Oh, escapism.
Yeah, right. But then also I'm adding pressure to my life by it costing so much.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Then there's like my life, like a simpler life with less convenience and less expense might actually be less stress.
Simple life is a good life. I think Jesus modeled a simple life. But I guess this is where our first episode was around trust and contentment.
Yeah.
And how, I guess, practical faith, what we're talking about, is best actioned out of that place of I'm trusting God.
Yeah, yeah.
So the actions I'm taking to steward things well is coming from a place of trust and not a place of control and fear, but of like contentment and trust in the Lord that He's got this, but I'm going to do things practically and believe that He's going to look after us and things like that. And for the people who are worried that the action is lacking of faith, these aren't panic moves. They're the actions of a man who trusts God enough to be a wise steward of what God has given him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
exactly
I think that's for the people who are worried that their practical actions showing a lack of faith.
Like, I love asking people in February, how much do you have saved for Christmas?
February.
Yep. How much do you have saved for Christmas? 95% of people that I ask that question to say, nothing. And I'm like, guess what I started saving for Christmas?
January.
The week after Christmas.
The week after Christmas. Yeah.
That's the smartest way and the simplest way and the cheapest way and the most stress-free way is for me to create a recurring payment from one account to another on the day I get paid for exactly 26, like a fraction, 20, like if you...
Yeah, I think ours is $27.20 or something a fortnight.
Right.
Goes in
Right.
So we structure our finances to try to get practical, based on a principle presented by Paul de Jong, his book, God, Money and Me.
Yeah, it's a great book.
It's a fantastic book. Talks about the idea of having buckets, guys. We like buckets, but, essentially a 70-10-10-10 principle
That's
to
right.
approaching your finances.
Great book.
And if we're looking at practical ways to steward, so that God can trust with what God's entrusted to us to be trustworthy.
Yeah, it's true.
Implementing some practical strategy around stewarding the way God says. I would say that there's a start point. We tithe. That is being trustworthy with what God's given us.
100%.
That we give the first back to Him.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's the first measure of trust. Can I be trusted
So
to
good.
give back to God the portion He says, give back to Him?
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
Now, if I can't, that's a wrestle. It's and a lot of people wrestle with that. But for me, it's the first principle.
Yeah, great.
And so we set our finances up, calculate all our income, calculate what 10% is on that. Pre-tax, that's our tithe. That's for God.
Great.
Then the next is a longer term plan. So what are we putting away to invest in our future to create a legacy for our children?
Yeah.
This is our scripture. It talks about, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Yeah.
Maybe all you can do is $1 into an investment account. Well, not everyone's leaving millions,
That's
but
right.
leave something.
Leave something.
A wise man leaves an investment for his children's inheritance. And so he talks about seed, investment and tithe. And so our seed account is what we sow from in terms of that's vision giving, that's generosity, that's shouting people coffees, but also inside of that is a budgeted amount for each person's birthdays within our family. There's a fortnightly amount goes into that account and that covers all the birthdays within the family. It covers Christmas for the family. It covers vision giving. It covers compassion, it covers all of those things that we're sowing. That's what we sow from.
Yeah.
And the
That's
goal,
awesome.
the goal then is that the rest of life occurs in the 70%.
Yep.
So it's a framework of stewardship.
It's a framework of stewardship.
Yeah, that's
look,
great.
to be honest, we're not there. It's a process, right? You talk about Joseph with his 7-year plan. It's about every year we try to take. Maybe it's a 1% or it's right. 10 for me is settled with the tithe, but the other areas we are trying to move our lifestyle towards. So when the opportunity comes up to get the new iPhone that is going to add a certain amount to our bills, it's not going to allow us to take the step because the goal would be 10-10-10, right? 10 tithe, 10 invest, 10 seed.
Right.
And it's like I could have the new iPhone or I could move in the direction of, and they're the decisions that you have to make.
Yeah. True.
100%. But what if God wants me to have the new folding iPhone, Like, what if he wants to bless me with that? And I'm sure he does.
Lord, can you buy it for me?
I want it to show up on my doorstep. No, I think that's really good. I think people should get that book.
I agree.
Yep.
Like, I think it's great that you mentioned, I think Paul de Jong in the book says, like, it's something to move towards. It's not, it's like, here's a vision, here's a goal to move towards the, what was it, 77?
70-10-10-10.
70-10-10-10.
Very good.
Yeah, it's a goal to move towards, but I think it's the best framework I've seen.
I agree.
I don't think I've seen another framework. I mean, we know the tithe, 10%. Great starting point for a framework.
Totally.
Trust God with the first.
Yeah.
But Paul de Jong, get that. I think that's great.
Can I recommend another really good book in this topic?
Just Chris.
The voice of Chris. Is The Richest Man in Babylon.
Richest Man in Babylon is another great book.
Also, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, Kiyosaki.
Yeah, not necessarily biblical, but in terms of the principles, your money going to work for you, I think it's fantastic.
Same as Barefoot Investor.
Yep.
Barefoot Investor.
$17 at Big W. It's just the principles of it. They help you to understand finances.
Yeah.
You know, and they say about financial education, like never stop learning.
Yeah.
Because the more you learn, the more you've got to then help you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, like if you learn some principles when you're like 19 about finances.
That's right.
You can, that's going to unlock you in that little zone.
Yeah. I remember reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was 16.
Wow.
Totally transformed my approach to investing. Me and my brother, we paper traded shares.
Oh, wow.
16, 17, bought my first ones at 18 with some inheritance. You know, like progressed. We bought our first investment property at 22 and halves. Like it's that sort of education that early and capacity, you know, getting inheritance helps, those sorts of things. But
for sure.
Coming back around so we don't go too far off track.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Back around.
Yep. Ding the bell.
I should have brought this in earlier. Oh, gee. It's right at the end of the pod that I'll bring it in. But yeah, back around.
Oh, that was my opening for you to bring us back on track.
Oh, right. Oh. We're coming back around, back to me.
I don't have the plan. I don't have the plan. You
Where
have
are we
the
going?
plan.
Gee, sorry. I wasn't picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
I wasn't reading the room there. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm trying to be more conscious. I take us on a lot of tangents. I'm trying to be more aware.
I'm so
I love
proud of you,
this.
man. That's
No,
amazing.
this is good. We're going to wrap it up.
It's great.
I guess this episode it's really it's permission to be practical with your faith.
That's really
I think,
good. I like that.
That's true.
Be practical with your faith. I love what Pastor Phil says. God can't move a parked car.
Yep.
So like that's one of my favorite things that sticks in my mind. And when I get passive and I'm like, I don't know which way to go, I want God to do it all. Is like he can't steer a parked car.
Yeah.
Can't steer a couch potato.
He can't steer a couch potato. Yeah.
I got nothing but God do it all.
God do it all. That'd be lovely.
God, I don't want to take responsibility for my life, so if you can just do it, that'd be great.
That's right. So
I would just add, like, there's a middle ground to be found. Yeah. I don't want to be encouraging men because we do have a propensity for this. I don't want men to hear, well, you better just get your butt down and like just go, head down, go.
Lock in.
You got to make it happen.
Hustle
It's like,
culture.
No, I don't think that's biblical.
Right. Agreed.
I think work ethic, there's some things we can unpack in
100%.
that are biblical, but I think wisdom and stewardship is the middle ground we're supposed to find.
Yeah.
And I think that involves working hard with what God's given us. I think it involves being a good steward with the resource God's given us. That involves our time, which is why we shouldn't overwork. It's not, but we shouldn't be at this end where it's like, God, I'm going to sit here, you're going to fix everything.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be at this end,
right.
which is, well, God, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to take back that because you're not doing what I want, and I'm going to fix it all.
Right.
Neither are healthy.
That's right.
In the middle, in relationship with Jesus.
Yeah, it's good.
Be practical.
Yeah.
Make some changes. Assess your finances.
Yeah.
Do you need to call the bank and talk about your mortgage?
Yep.
Do you need to spend less on some of those extras? Do you need to call it a detox and stop dessert for a month? You know, in your house, like that's there's some things. Be some practical, make some changes. Be a good steward. Don't be reckless. Don't be unwise. I think refusal to examine is actually being reckless. And I think you began the pod by talking about you can't fix what you can't see.
Yeah.
And for a whole lot of reasons, fear, whatever, we don't want to see. But I think that's an element of recklessness.
I think it's probably a good first step for a lot of people. I think to land it on a practical note, which I've called here the call to arms, the practical stuff, which guys like. We want practical stuff. This week's do one concrete financial act of stewardship. Review your budget. Maybe open up a savings account on the buckets. If you read Barefoot Investor, have different buckets. Have the money conversation you've been avoiding. Call the bank, call the electricity company and say, I want a discount.
Cancel the subscription.
Exactly right.
Cancel the streaming service.
And do it as an act of worship.
Ooh.
Do it with God.
Yeah, that's great.
I think we think of these things as like non-spiritual. God's not interested. Do it with God. Doesn't have to be weird. Just be like, God, help me as I go through this. Give me direction and wisdom.
Yeah. If you're not, Start tithing.
Start tithing, 100%.
Yep.
True.
And
if that 10% seems like a giant jump at the start, start at 3, start at 6, move towards it.
That's right.
The goal doesn't move, but be intentional.
it's
move
a
towards
wrestle,
that.
and that's normal.
Of course.
It's our flesh.
But it says to God,
Yeah.
from a kingdom perspective, you can. I'm trustworthy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
Even if it feels hard, it's like I'm trusting you, God. That's how I have to do it sometimes. But
so true.
I think as guys, we like practical, and I think it's good. I hope people feel like they've got permission to be practical in their faith.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it is faithful to be practical.
Absolutely.
So
That's great.
that was a great convo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home tonight and have a squeeze of my budget and
Start
do
an
some
emergency
things.
fund.
I'm gonna do some things. Yeah, I've got an emergency fund.
Oh, that's good.
But it's in an emergency because it's got no funds in
It's
it.
got no funds.
So got to sort that
It's
out.
the emergency.
The emergency fund is my emergency. All right. Thanks for being on the show today. This
So
was
good.
awesome. Check out the previous episode.
Yeah.
It really dovetails well with this episode, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Awesome, mate.
See you soon.
Cool.